Ai Weiwei and the Art of Digital Dissent. Last week, the Kunsthal in Rotterdam opened a large-scale exhibition in honor of one of today's most prominent artists, the activist and critic of China's Communist Party, Ai Weiwei. Titled In Search of Humanity, it is Ai Weiwei's most comprehensive retrospective to date, highlighting both the power and personal risks of digital freedom of speech. Alongside paintings, cultural ready-mades, and a variety of video works, a reconstructed detention cell warns the visitor of the consequences of criticizing the Chinese authorities. A 25-square-meter space without windows, covered in plastic sheets and insulation material to dampen noise and prevent self-inflicted injury, this is the space Ai Weiwei spent more than 81 days under constant camera surveillance and supervision. According to the artist, he had never been formally charged but is adamant that his imprisonment is due to his investigation of the 2008 Sichuan earthquake and the publishing of his findings on the internet. Ai's investigation claims that some 90,000 people died, more than 5 million buildings were damaged, and nearly 6 million people were left homeless. Especially tragic was the loss of thousands of school-aged children who were buried alive beneath the rubble of their schools. In order to hide gross negligence during the construction of these schools, as well as widespread corruption that had led to serious defects in construction quality, the authorities were quick to frustrate Ai's 2-year investigation into the construction quality of 153 schools. During this process, the assistants were frequently intimidated by the police and in some cases even harassed. In the end, however, Ai and his team did succeed in retrieving the personal information of the 5,197 students who had tragically lost their lives. In order to expose the government's mismanagement, Ai began to publish all incoming data on his public blog on a popular Chinese social media site. Given his growing audience, the blog didn't go unnoticed by authorities, which began to monitor him, then censor the blog's content, and ultimately shut it down. Although Ai subsequently started a series of microblogs on Chinese Twitter, these outlets too were swiftly identified and blocked by the internet police. In the year that followed, the Chinese Communist Party decided to crack down on cyber dissidents, imprisoning or silencing lawyers, activists, and writers. To prevent Ai from testifying in favor of another activist, Ai was arrested without formal charges. At 3 o'clock in the morning, the police pounded on the door of Ai's hotel room and brutally beat him up. On their way out of the building, in the elevator, Ai managed to take a photo of the scene in the mirror with his smartphone, and was able to post it online without being noticed. The selfie went viral on social media and sparked international outrage. However, it wasn't until 2011, following the international protests, that Ai's 81-day detention came to an end. Released on bail, but under tight surveillance, Ai was set free without a passport, of fear he might leave the country. Nonetheless, Ai continued to criticize the regime by circumventing the Great Firewall of China and reporting back on his inhumane conditions. As a dissident, Ai has been entirely erased from the internet in China. However, globally, he has become a martyr of free speech.